Welcome to episode 68 of How About Them Huskies. I'm Connor, joined by Matt today. You might see an appearance from Andrew at some point in this video, but as of now, it's just the two of us. But this is the best time of year. Regular season's over. We beat Providence yesterday. We'll talk about that for a couple of minutes. Not much to say. It doesn't matter anymore. But the regular season's over. We got some awards to talk about, but most importantly, the reason you clicked on this video, our Big East tournament preview and predictions. It's going to be a really exciting week at Madison Square Garden. There's 7, 8 teams that could win this thing. That's a lot. Obviously, we're the heavy favorites, but there's a lot of really good teams below us that could easily win a game, win a few games. A lot of teams that really are on the bubble and need a couple of wins. So it's going to be a great tournament. We're going to go through our predictions, our picks, just talk about it as a whole. But first, let's talk about that Providence game for a minute. Obviously, the Huskies went into the AMP on their senior night, and it wasn't looking good at first. It was 15-2 in the first, 5 minutes, but Danny Hurley got a technical foul like he always does and fired the boys up. They finished that first half on a 40-9 run and didn't look back from there. 74-60 final. Kind of let them get back in it a little bit. It was up to like 24, I think was the highest lead or something like that. But just we're just showing our riches in this one. 5 guys in double figures: Caravan 16, Castle 14, Newton 12, Klingon 11, and Spencer 10. Just there's so many ways that we can beat a team. We proved that against Providence. Even when they were up early, I had a feeling they're not gonna hold this lead. We have so many guys that can just take over. It was Caravan from three again. He was in his slump. Now he's been going off the last couple. So all in all, a great way to end the regular season.
Yeah, and I was gonna mention, all the starters in double figures. One of the most even games of the season, definitely. Production from all areas. Obviously the slow start. Some shaky shooting. We didn't shoot the best from the field within the starting lineup, but it was enough to get the job done. Especially on another team's senior night. It's not easy to do. So credit to them for going in and getting the job done.
Yeah, and off the bench, Samson Johnson, 8.6 boards in 12 minutes. That's a plus game from him. He had a couple of weird shots that he shouldn't be taking, but it was in like late shot clock, nothing to worry about there. Hassan Diarra, I don't know if you saw, I know Matt, you weren't able to catch the game, but Diarra beat the buzzer from at the first half. He had a really contested three. And Jalen Stewart provided his usual 6 minutes, not didn't do much, but held his own, and the rest of the bench was just in there the last minute. But all in all, a really, really exciting game. I mean, Donovan Klingon knocked down another 3-pointer. That's always fun to see. He was hesitant. He like pump faked and then decided, I'm going to take this. And it was nothing but net. That was when we were already pretty much decided in the second half. But yeah, I mean, 2 guys, Newton and Spencer, each had 5 assists. Spencer kind of struggled from three. Had a big one, though, in transition. All in all, I got nothing else really. Like I said, this game doesn't matter. It mattered for maybe 5 minutes afterwards, but now all eyes on the postseason.
Yeah, and it's definitely nice to get the post regular season sweep on Providence, though, I gotta say.
Yeah, and that regular season sweep actually clinched a couple of things for us. Well, for us, 28 wins is the most we've ever had in a regular season. So that's certainly an accomplishment. But I feel like more importantly, 18 wins is the most a Big East team has ever had in a single season. It's a little bit of a skewed stat because before like the old Big East with Syracuse and BC and them, they only played 18 conference games as opposed to 20 we play now. No team ever went 18-0. And since they moved to 20 when they made the new Big East, when we rejoined, no one has won 18. Marquette won 17 last year. They were tied with the record. But yeah, this team is just setting record. I feel like a couple every game at this point is really, really impressive. Speaking of records, we'll move over to the awards portion of this episode. Stephon Castle broke Carmelo Anthony's record earlier today. His 11th Big East Freshman of the Week award. I mean, they showed a graphic in the game last night for like the top three for the Big East Freshman of the Year or Freshman of the Week award winners. It was Castle, Carmelo, and Allen Iverson. That was quite a graphic to see Castle up with. But I mean, the season he's had combined with there's not really any other good freshmen in the Big East. I mean, the all Big East freshmen to came out today. Spoiler: Castle is on that. I honestly was struggling to think of a second guy to be on that, let alone 5 more. But yeah, Castle, Big East freshman of the week 11 times, unanimous Big East all freshman team, and regular Big East teams came out. First team, second team, honorable mention. We got 2 guys on the first team. Tristan Newton, a unanimous selection. I feel like we all expected that. He's probably, no, I wouldn't say probably because you never know, but he should be player of the year in this conference. That's going to come out in the next few days. And Cam Spencer was also named to the first team. He was the one he probably should have been, but we weren't sure if he'd end up getting the nod over a guy like Kalkbrenner or anyone else really that was on the second team. And we had no second teamers, but Donovan Clingan was named an honorable mention. And all I took from those awards was Alex Karaban was not placed on any team or honorable mention. And I feel like we always see when our guys get snubbed, they really take it personally. Especially you snub Caravan when he's what made 8 or 9 threes in his last 2 games. He might not miss at Madison Square Garden this week, honestly. But you got something before we jump in?
Yeah, I mean, with the Caravan thing, I feel like he should have made one of the teams. I mean, there's just a bunch of guards. I don't really understand. Tristan Newton, Cam Spencer, Baylor Shireman, Tyler Kolek, and Devin Carter, all considered guards-ish. No, Shireman's on the fence, but I mean, Kadari Richmond as the one forward. I feel like, Kadari had a great season, and it's, impossible to deny. I don't think he was better than Caravan, and I mean, secondly on the second team, Dennis Jenkins, and I mean, they love Creighton. They had th three guys from Creighton, two guys from UConn, which doesn't really make much sense to me considering how dominant we were throughout the whole season. So, I mean, whatever, what are you gonna do? But like you said, you got to use it as fuel. So hopefully he doesn't miss this weekend and we take home our first Big East tournament trophy since we've been back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd honestly put him over Klingon just because Klingon missed the games. And even looking at the stats, Caravan averages more points. You got to look at Donovan's defense, but still, it's crazy to see wasn't even at least an honorable mention because you look at Josh Aduro with Providence, who's certainly a very solid big man, but look at him versus Caravan. I mean, Caravan has to be at least an honorable mention over him. But that's besides the point. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. We all know who Alex Caravan is. He's gonna go out. He's gonna give it his all, but would have been nice to see him make one of those teams. I believe that's all the awards that are out as of now. Recording this, me and Andrew talked in one of our last episodes. Some of the guys who might win individual awards, we kind of agreed. Newton probably should be Player of the Year. Castle and is he's win Freshman of the Year. That's it, without a doubt. Hurley should win Coach of the Year without a doubt. Hassan Diarra's got a pretty good chance of Sixth Man of the Year in the conference. But besides that, I don't think we'll be getting any of the other two awards: Defensive Player of the Year or Most Improved. But getting 4 of the 6, that's not bad. But I think now, finally, I know you guys are tired of us talking about something that's not the Big East tournament. We're gonna get into the bracket here. I'm gonna try to share my screen every time we try this. I feel like it's always a struggle, but hopefully this goes smoothly. Let's see here. Share. You see my screen, Matt? All right, good. So this needs no introduction. This is our Big East tournament bracket. I'll go over it real quick. I'm looking to the side. If you can, I don't know if you can see my face, honestly. I don't know what the settings are on this, but if you can see, I'm looking to the side of it on a second monitor here. We got on Wednesday the 8-9 game, Butler Xavier, and then followed by Providence Georgetown, which should be a fun one. We all know why. And then the nightcap Villanova DePaul, and then we get the winner of Xavier Butler on Thursday, St. John Seton Hall after that. And then Creighton and Marquette are the 2 and the 3 seed. Just before we get into it, what's your overall like reaction to the initial bracket? Like, what's one matchup you're really looking forward to that at least we know of?
I mean, that Georgetown Providence matchup is kind of hard to miss. I just thought of this name in my head, the Cooley Bowl, but that kind of sounds a little ridiculous. So, I mean, we'll just leave it as Providence versus Georgetown. But I kind of like where we're at, especially, that Seton Hall St. John's winner. I feel like shouldn't be a challenge, but, you're never positive. Um, in the Big East, these teams are tough, especially in MSG. But it's a tough, heavy, top heavy bracket this year, especially with Creighton, Marquette, us. So, once we get to the semifinals, the final is where things start to get really tough for me, and I think that's where all the best action is going to come from. But I mean, there are great games all over the place. St. John's, Seton Hall is going to be a good one. Georgetown, Providence, like I said, Butler, Xavier. So, I mean, it's all about the excitement. I mean, there's so much hype around it. MSG, obviously. So, yeah, I'm just hoping to see some good games, some good entertainment.
Yeah, I feel like we'll definitely get a bunch of good games, especially those 4 games, quarterfinal Thursday. All 4 should be really exciting. I have to agree with you with the top heavy stuff. I mean, we got 3 top 10 teams. I don't know. Creighton might be just outside, but they're a top 10 team if you look at them. But I'm not 3 top 10 teams, and I'm really not scared of the team that's right after them, Seton Hall. So that's a big drop off. But I don't know. I mean, Seton Hall, they should make the tournament. Winner of that St. John Seton Hall game should 100% make the tournament. Losers going to be sweating it out a bit. It should be interesting. It's going to be a fun first session for us, especially because you get Xavier or Butler. They can both play you pretty close. If you win that, you get either St. John's or Seton Hall on a Friday night. I like our side of the bracket, like matchups wise for us, but all four of those teams have played us tough all year, so it should be interesting. But I think we can just jump right into talking. We'll go in order. Xavier Butler first. So maybe give your pick, talk a little bit. What you feeling for that first one?
That game to me is a little tough. I mean, I am looking at Xavier and I'm thinking, they've kind of been here before. They've done this. They've, have the guys I feel like to get it done. Butler obviously their first year kind of back being semi-relevant again in a way. I mean, I just like Xavier. I don't really have too much to say about it other than I feel like Xavier's gonna win.
Yeah, I'm also on the fence with that one. Butler, obviously, they were like even just a month ago, people are saying they're a tournament team. They've really fallen off. They need to win this tournament, I feel like, to get in, especially because if they beat us and they beat Seton Hall or St. John's, they don't get Creighton or Marquette if they don't win the Big East tournament. You need to win and beat at least two of those teams, which they'd have to win it all. So I feel like Butler's trending down. Xavier, they got guys like Quincy Olivar. He's a really good scorer. I mean, I'm gonna have to agree with you. Xavier, I guess, technically pulls off the 9-8 upset, even though they're really similar teams. But let's see. We're trying something new. I'm gonna try to put these logos in here. Let's see. Paste. Center it. At least try to. That went pretty smoothly, except that's still there. There we go. That went pretty smoothly. So yeah, we have Xavier moving on in that first game, and these next two, you can be kind of quick. They shouldn't really be close, but Providence, Georgetown. Unless you even should we even talk about these next two? I mean, might as well.
I
How
mean,
you
we don't need
how
to
you
talk about
feeling?
DePaul, but
No,
I think this Georgetown Providence game is going to be a little bit closer than some expect. I mean, Georgetown has some guys that got Jane Nebbs, Dontre Style, and the guy who cooked us, Supreme Cook. So, I mean, they got some guys, but in the end, I feel like, the best player on the court's Devin Carter. Obviously, I feel like it's just going to be too much, and I feel like Providence will move on.
I agree 100%. But it'd be poetic if Ed Cooley goes into MSG. His only Big East win in the year that's not against DePaul. He knocks off Providence and ends their tournament dreams because they don't have to win the Big East tournament to get in, but I'd say they have to beat Creighton if they want to have a chance. But yeah, Providence, as much as I don't think they'll honestly beat Creighton, I feel like they will without a doubt win this one against Georgetown. And we're not even really going to talk about this next one, Villanova versus DePaul. I mean, DePaul doesn't have a win. They're going to go 0-21. Any thoughts at all, or should I just throw that Nova logo and keep rolling?
I have zero thoughts.
Zero thoughts. Okay. I agree.
Yeah, I don't
They
think
might make it competitive, like less than 20, but no.
competitive in air quotes.
Yeah. So now we've made it to our quarterfinal matchup, starting with us against Xavier, the Huskies. We had a historic win against them at the XL Center. Played them kind of close without clinging in Cincinnati. I feel like I know what direction you're going in here, but what's your thoughts about this one?
I mean, yeah, obviously that historic win. I don't see a world where they beat us. I see a world where the game's kind of close. I could see a world where we're kind of sweating it out in the last few minutes, maybe up by like from 5 to 10, but we've been leading the entire game. But I just don't see a world where they beat us. Um, I mean, besides that, I can't see too much deeper into it. We just have the matchup advantage. We got the better play. It's never that close, but I see us winning pretty easily.
I agree. I agree it can be close. I honestly don't think it will be though, because you gotta look at it. They play at 4 o'clock on Wednesday against the Butler team. You know it's gonna be a very competitive game, most likely. That's a quick turnaround playing at noon the next day against the best team, and I'd say the best team in the country, honestly. So I agree. This matchup would be interesting if it wasn't the second straight day Xavier was playing, but the Huskies are going back to the semifinals, and
It could be
perhaps
warm though. They could warm them up, but
it could,
we'll
but
see.
we'll see indeed. And this next one's kind of a toss up for me. See, huh? not St. Hans. I'm mixing up those names. St. John's versus Seton Hall, the 4-5 game. Seton Hall beat. Well, I'm just looking ahead to Seton Hall defeated us obviously back in December. St. John's played us close in December, and then we handled both of them the second time around. I'm honestly in a toss up here. What you think?
I want to see St. John's win. My heart is kind of pulling for him for some reason. I'd love to see him in a Big East semifinal. I feel like that would just be fun, especially, at MSG in New York. They got the guys to do it. I love Joe Soriano. I think he's fantastic. I mean, Dennis Jenkins, Jordan Dingle. So I feel like they do have the guys. I mean, even the Himalayan off the bench, national champion last year. So I'm gonna kind of pull for a little bit of an upset here. I'm gonna go with St. John's here.
I think I agree with you because you gotta look at obviously there's gonna be fans from every team, but St. John's plays at MSG. Seton Hall is the next closest team though, so they're gonna pack it as well. Especially that first session with UConn fans, St. John's fans, or Seton Hall fans. I haven't looked at tickets for this, but it's got to be like a lot for a quarterfinal with all the competitiveness between the fans to get those tickets. But I feel like St. John's is just on a run right now. Seton Hall should be fine even if they lose this game, but they'll be really sweating it out. But I agree with you. St. John's, the way they're playing with Rick Pitino. I wasn't high on Seton Hall coming into the year. Obviously, they proved me wrong, but I'm not betting against Joel Soriano, Danish Jenkins, all those guys. St. John's has to win at least one game in the Big East tournament. Brings us down to this 7-2 matchup, Creighton versus Providence. Another one that maybe it'll be interesting, maybe it won't. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like Creighton's gonna take this one. I feel like the Bryce Hopkins injury is just a little too much to overcome this year. We'll see. They're kind of on the bubble a little bit. I'm not sure if they're gonna make it in. I think they're gonna lose this game. Creighton will move on to the semifinals.
I agree. You got three really good scorers with Creighton, Alexander, Shireman, Kalkbrenner. They can beat you in many ways. And if the last time I watched a full game of theirs, I don't think they missed a three against us. So if they play like that, I don't know if anyone's beating them in the country. But
Mhm.
Creighton survives and advances to the semifinals. Well, they will take on either Marquette, the 3 seed, or Villanova, the 6 seed. Which one is it?
This is where things to me kind of get a little interesting because sure Marquette is top five, top 10 ranked in the country, but Villanova's got some dogs. Eric Dixon, obviously one of the best players in the Big East, and just to the fact they're Villanova kind of gives me a weird feeling. Marquette to me doesn't look like a team that's gonna make a very deep run in March. I feel like they have some very obvious flaws. We were kind of able to put beatings on them pretty easily, so I think just for fun, I kind of want to say Villanova's gonna win, just for fun. But I want to see what you think.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of factors going into this decision. I mean, Tyler Kolek has been out for the past like 3 games or so, whatever, the last 2 weeks of the regular season to prepare for this Big East tournament. I don't know if he'll be ready. I assume he will be, but even if he is, he's not going to be 100%. You have an oblique injury, you don't come back in 2 weeks like he's planning to. You won't be 100%. They got ballers. Cam Jones, he's been going off recently. He's been averaging like 30 points per game over his last five or something ridiculous like that. Also, Gadaro's good, but I might have to side with you here. Nova, they're a team that's on the bubble. They don't really have to go all out on Wednesday against DePaul. Hopefully not. And if they do, they're in some big trouble. But they have Moore, Dixon, TJ Bamba, all those guys that can beat you. They're legit like 9 deep. Why not go with Villanova in an upset? It's March.
I
They
think I think Eric Dixon's kind of just gonna go out also, and we'll see about Kolek, but I feel like it's just gonna be too much, especially with Dixon stretching the floor. I can't. I don't know. Like I really see Villanova pulling it out.
We're gonna stick with Villanova, but I'm gonna look at their season series real quick just to see who won which games because I'm curious. Gonna take a second here, pull up Marquette's schedule. Let's see.
So
Marquette
Marquette won
won.
both.
Marquette did win both, so it's hard to beat a team 3 times. So we're gonna go Villanova, even
Yeah,
though that logic kind of isn't the case for like us, it
yeah.
seems. But Yeah, we'll go Villanova. Why not? Set up a really exciting Friday night that starts with UConn St. John's at the Garden. This one scares me a little bit if we get to it, and I feel like odds are we will. But how are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, that's pretty tough. St. John's is it's a tough team to beat, especially at MSG, but I feel like if I don't say UConn, then it's kind of contradictory to this whole thing. I do feel like we have the guys to do it. We beat them twice this year, so it's easy to beat a team 3 times. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go with UConn here.
Yeah, I feel like this is a tough one. I have similar like last night for the Providence game. I went in expecting we didn't win there last year. I don't think we're winning here this year. The game doesn't matter to us, and we started out exactly how I thought the game would go, but it just completely turned around. I feel like not this will be similar, but St. John's could easily jump out to a big lead in this one. I feel like they can do, but I just feel like our depth with Newton, Castle, Spencer, Caravan, Klingon, I could just go name that five every time. I don't think St. John's can play a full 40 minutes against us and beat us with all the guys we have, especially like with we can go to Diarra and knock down a three off the bench. Samson Johnson catch a lob, but UConn, we have advancing to the championship game for the first time since we rejoined the Big East, and we did the same thing last year. I just looked back at our predictions. We had UConn advancing to the title, winning it all, I assume, and they did not. But
Maybe a little biased, but we try not to be.
yeah, you say that at the same time, we're the one seed and we're 28-3,
Yeah,
so we're kind of just making a safe pick here. But
yeah.
that second semifinal game, Creighton Villanova. This game just happened, I believe, Saturday. I wasn't able to watch, but I know it was a 2-point Creighton win at home, not at Villanova's home on the road. So these two teams are familiar with each other. They played close. Who's moving to the Big East final?
Oof. I mean, this is kind of tough. I mean, oof. The first game of the season series, how did that end up? Villanova won. So
Villanova went into Omaha and won.
all their total of games have been decided by 4 points. So this here is tough. To me, it's a 50 ball. Whoever has the better night is gonna win. And I feel like Villanova, having played twice already, is going to be ready. So I'm gonna pull for Nova here, and I'm gonna say that Villanova is gonna beat Creighton, and that it's gonna be UConn versus Villanova on Saturday, March 16th.
Ooh. See, I'm kind of feeling Creighton here, but
Can split it up. I mean, we know who's gonna win anyways. We know who we're gonna choose
yeah,
anyways.
we'll split it up. Why not? I gotta shrink these logos. I just feel
Again,
like Nova, they beat Marquette, and they have to play Creighton the next day after this is their third straight day. Hold up. You say it's they're like what? Yeah, they have energy because they're third straight day. I say they're gassed and they're
that's
gonna
fair.
be done.
That is
But
fair.
we'll shrink the logo. We'll put them both here because this is really our only true toss up, I'd say. I
Yeah.
agree with all the other picks. That's kind of how I'd go. Maybe Marquette would be a toss up for me, but I'm down with picking Villanova there.
Yeah.
But once I get this in here, we can talk about the
The final.
championship game. You could talk about it from a Villanova perspective, and I'll talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, uh, we have played Villanova twice. We kind of stuck it to them both times. Except for the first game where we only won by 1 point. Let me take a look at this box score. Caravan had 10, Newton had 25, Spencer with 14. I don't even feel like we were at our best. I feel like we had a very shaky shooting. I just don't think there are many teams that can hang with us in the country, let alone the Big East. I mean, obviously Marquette, Creighton hang with us during the regular season. We're reigning national champs. We have the depth. We have the star caliber player which you need to win national championships. We have experience. I just don't think that there's really much competition for us here except for Creighton. I feel like they're our toughest match, but I do think that if this matchup were to happen in the final, we would win. I feel like it would be close, but I feel like it would be that kind of satisfying revenge from a few years back. Villanova would always kind of wipe us in the conference tournaments. So I feel like UConn wins with a final score of like 71-63.
I feel like that'd be a similar score. Not well, not maybe similar score, similar differential to if we played against Creighton.
Yeah,
I mean, we beat him. No, we didn't beat him twice. We split with them. They beat
yeah,
us down in
pretty
Omaha,
bad.
but I don't. I don't think they can replicate. Oh, they certainly can replicate that the way they shot the ball that game. I just don't think they will. I mean, Greg McDermott's a good coach, but I feel like we always claim to own MSG. This year we're 4-0 there. We won both games in the Empire Classic, beat Carolina in the Jimmy V Classic, and then beat St. John's. Why not finish a perfect 7-0 at the Garden? I say it's gonna be an offensive game. I feel like with Creighton, you almost have to be. Though that first game we had with them, it was very 62-48 or something like that, very low scoring. But I'm gonna go Huskies finally win their Big East tournament when they return. First time since 2011 they win the Big East tournament with Kemba. I'll say final score, we'll go 82-74.
So
Well,
you could be more than
also
that. I feel like that game could happen in the 90s.
it could, but I don't know. It's also some tired legs, each playing their third straight day. But I'll say Huskies and the final big reveal. There's no true championship spot on this bracket, so we'll stick them right under there.
Perfect.
So there you have it. Our Big East tournament preview, prediction, however you want to call it. Pretty much consensus, except for that title game, but obviously we agree on the champion. Andrews might be giving his picks. He was unable to join us for the episode today. He might be sending some clips over. I'll edit them in. You'll know if I edit them in or not, so you'll see him. If not, this part is redundant. But yeah, it should be a very exciting tournament, like we said at the beginning. All of these, 9 of these teams have a chance to advance in this tournament. It's gonna be better than last year's. I feel like because St. John's is good, because we were good last year, but not this good. But it's just gonna be a blast. But
Yeah. Falls
yeah,
around. Xavier's on the way out.
Sean Miller's final games before he moves to Ohio State, if that'll happen. But yeah, for us as a podcast, I'm not sure if we'll be able to get any episodes in during the tournament, Big East tournament. Maybe after a loss or after we win it all. Probably not like between games. I don't think we'll be able to do that, but we'll certainly be doing an episode recapping the whole tournament, especially if we win. And then we'll be doing a NCAA tournament preview, selection Sunday, a week from today as of recording. We know where we're gonna be. We don't know who we're playing or who our path is. Most likely we're gonna be playing in Brooklyn than Boston, unless something crazy happens. I don't think it's even possible something that crazy to happen at this point. But yeah, until then, thanks for watching this. Obviously, last year we picked the Huskies. It did not go that way. We had UConn Xavier. I believe we had UConn Xavier in the title, or I don't remember exactly. It might have been UConn Creighton, but we were completely wrong. But yeah, that's all we got. Thanks for watching. Trim that down.